We've been using the story of the prodigal son found in Luke 15, verses 11 through 20, to discuss the tools Satan uses against born-again Christians to cause division. So far, we've discussed 4 tools Satan uses. Number 1, dissatisfaction. If Satan can keep us dissatisfied, he can disconnect us from those we love and from the God who loves us. Number 2, disconnection. Satan desires to separate and isolate you first and foremost from God and ultimately the ones you love. Number 3, abandonment. If we've burned every bridge with God and the people who care about us, Satan's support tool of abandonment produces overwhelming emotions and pride. If Satan can keep you from humbling yourself enough to ask God for help, he has effectively caused you to separate yourself from your deliverance. Something happened to the prodigal son when he hit rock bottom. Luke 15 reads, when he came to his senses, he said, "How many of my father's hired men have food to spare? And here I am starving to death. I will set out and go back to my father and say to him, 'Father, I have sinned against heaven and against you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Make me like one of your hired men.' So he got up and went to his father's." Circumstances beyond our control will often bring us to our senses. The prodigal son was literally starving to death. He was starving when there was a place for him to get real food on a regular basis. He had convinced himself that he could handle his situation, but then reality hit him in the face. May I paraphrase verses 7 through 20? What am I doing here? I don't have to die out here alone. I remember the kindness of my father. I will go to him and beg for forgiveness and secure a place among the servants that are doing better than I am. No doubt before leaving his father, the prodigal perceived his situation as oppressive and his father's rules and restrictions as intolerable. But looking back, he now knew better. He had acted foolishly. His father's household was a place of love and safety. I believe this was true because if it had not been so, he wouldn't even considered returning as an option. Satan counts on you to not remember. He wants you to forget. He tries to get us to discount the love and affection God has for us and does his best to suppress the memory of that love. He doesn't want you to recollect the sweetness of God's presence in your life before you separated yourself through your own choices. He knows that if you remember what it's like to taste and see that the Lord is good, you'll come to your senses and you'll return to the God of your salvation. Let's look at the homecoming in verse 20, the second half. But while he was still a long way off, his father saw him and was filled with compassion for him. He ran to his son, threw his arms around him, and kissed him. God loves us with an everlasting love. His love is never ending, and it extended to us without limit. Listen to these words of hope in the Phillips New Testament translation. God's love knows no limit to its endurance, no end to its trust, no fading of its hope. It can outlast anything. It is, in fact, the one thing that still stands when all else has fallen. Satan is counting on us not making the love of God a reality and affirmation in our lives. He knows love keeps us away from division, and he's certain that when we remember who God is and that we are all still loved by him, nothing will ever separate us from him or from each other. Has this 5-part teaching helped you? Has it magnified the tools Satan is trying to use in your life and family? Tell me about it in the comments section below. I would love to hear from you. As always, if you've enjoyed these videos, please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Blessings to you.